Japan's factory decline is at least slowing. Monday's closely watched Purchasing Managers' Index for manufacturing rose to 49.4 in May. That's just below the key 50-point mark that would indicate rising activity. But the figure was up on preliminary estimates and the highest so far this year. Survey compiler S&P Global Market Intelligence said the numbers pointed to improved jobs growth and a softer decline in sales. But there's one big looming worry. A sub-index for new orders fell for a 24th straight month, with manufacturers citing concern over US tariffs. Donald Trump's trade policies have hit sectors including cars that are the backbone of Japan's economy. In response, Tokyo has held 4 rounds of talks with Washington over a deal. Policymakers also plan a fiscal package to support households and businesses. Monday did see some hopeful data. Inflation pressures eased and employment gained for a 6th month. Business confidence also rose, with strong demand for semiconductors seen among the positives in the months ahead.
Russia and Ukraine sharply ramped up their war 1 day before proposed peace talks were to take place. Several people were killed after 2 bridges were blown up in Russian regions bordering Ukraine, Russian officials said on Sunday, though no one has claimed responsibility yet. One was a road bridge in the Bryansk region. It collapsed as a train carrying 388 people was passing underneath, derailing the train and crushing some carriages. Separately, videos obtained by Reuters were said to show recordings of Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian airfields in the northern Murmansk region and Siberia, in the first such attack so far from the front lines. Reuters was able to verify the locations of the recordings, but not the dates. A Ukrainian intelligence official said some 40 Russian warplanes were struck in attacks on several bases. Russia's defense ministry said several military aircraft were hit. Meanwhile, Russia launched more than 470 drones at Ukraine overnight, the Ukrainian Air Force said, the highest nightly total of the war so far. The southeastern city of Zaporizhia was among the areas hit. And the commander of Ukraine's land forces resigned on Sunday after a lethal Russian missile strike on a military training facility. The attacks came on the eve of a second round of direct talks in Turkey proposed by Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed on Sunday his country's delegation will be led by Defense Minister Rustem Umerov, who attended the May 16 talks. It follows days of uncertainty over whether or not Ukraine would even show up. In a social media post, Zelensky outlined Ukraine's positions for the negotiations. It includes a complete and unconditional ceasefire, the release of prisoners, the return of abducted children, as well as preparations for a meeting at the highest level. According to a document seen by Reuters, the Ukrainians will present a proposed roadmap to end the war that details these conditions during Monday's talks with Russia.
China rejected accusations from the US it had broken the consensus of recent trade talks. Beijing said Monday President Donald Trump's accusations were groundless. It also promised to take forceful measures to safeguard its interests and accused Washington of seriously violating their trade truce. The comments came in response to Trump's Friday statement that China had breached a deal to roll back tariffs. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick spoke on Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream.
I think what happened is Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer went to Geneva. They made a deal with the Chinese. And really the right way to say it is they're just slow rolling the deal. So I think slow rolling is the right way to say it. And I think Donald Trump is on it.
But China said Monday it had implemented and actively upheld the agreement reached last month in Geneva. It further accused the US of introducing many discriminatory and restrictive measures against China. That included issuing guidance on AI chip export controls, halting sales of chip design software to China, and revoking visas for Chinese students. It did not elaborate on what forceful measures it might take in response. Beijing and Washington agreed in May to pause triple-digit tariffs for 90 days.
The world's airlines have cut their profit hopes for the year amid trade turmoil. Industry body IATA now expects a collective profit of $36 billion for 2025. That's $600 million down on the December forecast, made before Donald Trump returned to office. Since then, he's launched a global trade war and tightened border controls. That has fueled economic uncertainty, causing many travellers to cancel or postpone trips. Speaking at IATA's annual meeting in New Delhi over the weekend, boss Willie Walsh said the headline for profitability masked serious vulnerabilities.
Although our revenue forecast is down, our cost forecast is also down. And that leaves us with a net position which is broadly similar to what we had previously forecast at $36 billion US. Lovely figure, very big by any measure, but when you translate that into margin, it's a margin of 3.7%, and that remains a wafer-thin margin for the airline industry.
Delays in the delivery of new jets are another problem for the industry. Major jet makers Boeing and Airbus have both been dogged by a variety of supply chain issues, with the European firm warning last month that delivery delays would last for another 3 years. Such problems have forced carriers to keep operating older, less efficient planes. They've also faced rising prices for the dwindling stock of available spare parts. However, that has been offset by a drop in oil prices. IATA predicted a 4.7% drop in cargo revenues for the year, with tariffs dampening trade and cutting global growth.